Okay, Jim, you should have the link to YouTube. Okay. Mr. Pashowski, we're ready to go. We're on YouTube, so things are, whenever you're ready, we should be good.
Hey, Louise, you're on mute.
These darn Zoom meetings. Welcome to our January 20th, 2021 board meeting. Will everyone rise to pledge our flag? Mike, get the flag up for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Okay, Ms. O'Day, can we have roll call?
Mr. Acker,
Here.
Mr. Azar,
Here.
Dr. Cadman,
Here.
Mr. Fleming, Mr. Medensky,
Here.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Here.
Mr. Robeson,
Here.
Mrs. Tierney,
Here,
Mrs. Pashowski.
Here.
It's like 8 of us here.
Did you get that Mr. Fleming is here?
No, he never answered. So
Oh,
he
he
is,
did, but I did see him. He must have, did he get knocked off, Mike?
I'm here.
Oh, I think Mr. Fleming is here.
Yes, he is here.
all right, good.
Can you not hear me?
No, you must have
I
been.
did not
muted,
hear you.
Mike.
So
Okay,
all present.
okay. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda
so
So
moved.
Second.
on the question? Roll call?
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes,
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
And can we have a motion to approve our December 9th, 2020 board meeting minutes and our January 6th, 2021 work session minutes?
so moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes,
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Are there any board reports? Not tonight? Okay, we can hear from our student representative. I see Sydney. Are you alone tonight, Sydney?
No, Megan's here. I think you need to promote her to
Oh,
the
let me take care of that right now, Cindy, with apologies to Megan.
No worries.
She should be joining us any instant now.
Okay.
And I believe her, she got her Zoom working, so
Okay,
we shouldn't have any connection issues tonight.
great. Hi, Megan.
hi.
Okay, perfect. So I'll start and then I'll have Megan finish the report. So with the second quarter coming to an end, we are reminded of the challenges that COVID-19 has presented to us and how we've persisted to get this far into a successful school year. Many were skeptical about the remainder of the school year, but the students, teachers, and district have made the most of what they have, starting with a hybrid education system. Students are grateful that they have the opportunity to learn in person as well as from the comfort of their own homes, making this year safe and adaptable for everyone. As we look ahead, we are faced with the fear of the unknown. However, that is something that we have been able to overcome before, so I have faith that we could do it again. With some COVID restrictions being lifted, students have been allowed to return to winter sports, a major turning point in the school year. Teams have been practicing for the past few weeks, and their work will pay off as many of them have games starting tomorrow. The girls' basketball team will have a home game tomorrow night, and the swim team will have a meet tomorrow night as well. Boys' basketball have an away game on Friday, and wrestling will be competing at home on Saturday. So I'll turn it over to Megan.
As of right now, the high school music department is working on plans for a spring band, orchestra, and choir concert that will possibly be held outdoors. They have begun rehearsals in preparation for a concert. The Drama Society and music department are also underway with discussions on approaches to holding a spring musical play, just as we have held in the past. Clubs and organizations have continued to hold virtual meetings throughout the school year, and there have been looking forward to more days. Science Olympiad has been completing virtually the past few weeks, and Mock Trial will have its first virtual competition at the end of January.
And I'd just like to say, to end our report, a big thank you to the district and the teachers and the school board. You've made our lives this year very hopeful. It's been a tough year, but we're all extremely grateful for everything that you and the teachers and staff of the district have done for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I'll thank the students for hanging in there and giving it their all and participating. So we're going to get through this. It's almost over, right? I think. I hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's going to get better. It's just going to keep getting better. Dr. Main, do you want to give your superintendent report before the public participation?
Yes, I would, Mrs. Brashowski. Thank you for the opportunity.
Dr. May, and I have one question first before the games. They're going to be live streamed. Is that accurate? The home games?
Yes, that is correct.
Can you give us the can you send out the link to that, or how do you stream one of the games?
You know, let me see if I get that out on a remind everybody tomorrow.
Great.
I think we sent it out on Twitter, but that's not nearly as widely followed as our remind. That's an excellent point. And we'll also for sure post it on our website so that anyone who wants to catch a game could just, instead of looking, could just go right to our homepage and click the link.
Good idea.
Great idea.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So thank you for that. That's a good point. So I would like to share my screen with everybody if I can here. And my presentation is shorter than usual tonight. This is our community presentation as always. And here's the latest update on COVID. Since our return to school following the holidays on January 4th, we've had 29 positive COVID cases among students and staff. And additionally, over and above the 29, we've had 87 individuals required to quarantine. And this is significant. I mean, I think we would all agree this is a large number and is very reflective of the fact that COVID is present in our community and inside our walls is absolutely no different. And I want to commend all involved for the tremendous cooperation and the hard work that goes into managing these cases. But this is a very large effort to try to keep people as safe as we possibly can, and the cases again keep coming in. And we really should not be surprised at those numbers because as we look at Lackawanna County, this last week the incident rate was at its highest since I began tracking in July. So I don't know what the numbers were back in February, March, April, May, early spring, but we may be at all-time highs, certainly at all-time highs since July. Our positivity rate is at 14.2%, again, for Lackawanna County. This is near its highest rates. And local data in the 18411 are equally or more concerning when compared to the countywide data. So at this point, it appears we're at the height of it. We've had some positive indications statewide that things are starting to turn in a better direction, but we're lagging, it seems, a bit behind that at the local level. All right. I do want to raise this important point. Since our last meeting, the Pennsylvania Department of Ed and the Department of Health issued new guidance saying, we're going to get kids back in school. But the guidance, and this is something that maybe was glossed over in some of the press releases that people have read, but according to the new state guidance, if we were to follow it, the high school and the middle school would be all virtual, and the elementary schools would have the option of being either hybrid or all virtual. Now, we are having no discussion about going back to the guidance, but some were suggesting, understandably so, that the guidance was saying we should open our schools, and really it is for sure not saying that. And to that point, we recognize that we want our schools open 4 days a week, 5 days a week. We want to go back to normal. Our concern is, as we talk about this increase in cases and constant quarantine, the numbers of quarantine and potentially even the number of cases would be so much higher if we were back with all students all the time, with limited social distancing, and people being in school every day. Very often, because of our hybrid model, someone will test positive. They will not have been in school over the past 2 or 3 days, which limits the close contacts. But just right now, as we look at the data in the community, the impact that transmission is having on our school population as far as numbers of positive cases and close contacts, is just a very, very challenging time right now to be considering a full return. Okay. As far as instruction is concerned, we see that many students now are selecting the all virtual model. Class sizes are low in many areas, but not all. If you walk around the high school or the middle school, many times you'll see as low as 3 or 4 students in a class, which represents maybe half of the students who would be expected there. And there are many reasons for this. We're very pleased that attendance overall is excellent, but students, for a number of reasons, are choosing to access all virtual at home. We're hoping, now that we're just past the 2-week period following the holidays, and hoping that trends in the disease head in the right direction, we're hoping to see in-person attendance increase. Elementary families who remain in hybrid but are learning from home will soon be asked to join our all virtual classrooms. And we have a number of families, and we recognize and respect this, have taken the time before the holiday and now after the holiday to remain virtual, to see how things were going. But as we move now toward what we hope to be a more normal time going forward, we're going to be asking parents who choose to be all virtual to actually move into our all virtual classroom, which are also taught by Abington Heights teachers. And we hope to see, as I'm mentioning, an uptick in students attending school and a downward trend in cases. And when these two things are combined, and I think they are both related to each other, it will be at that point that we will be able to transition to either 4 or 5 days a week of instruction. My fear now, and I know many people very sincerely and legitimately want us to make that transition sooner rather than later, but my fear is that if we were to make that transition now, we would end up, quarantining our way, back to hybrid very, very quickly. And so, again, that kind of gives a sense of where we are. We do have plans. We will be ready in as short as a week time to be able to move to in-person instruction for the full week. But now it just does not appear to me to be the exact right time to do it. And so, that, Mr. Brzezowski, concludes my report. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if there's any, discussion or questions.
That was short, Dr. Mann.
Yeah, That's the shortest of all. Many months.
Anybody have any questions before we move on to public participation? Okay, at this time, we would ask any members of the public who wish to address the board just to raise your hand. Please remember there is a 3-minute time limit and state your name and address before you start to speak. So I don't see any hands at this time. Is anybody, am I missing something? Okay, it looks like we have no speakers tonight.
All right, and I'm going to get to the agenda here, I think. Let's see.
Okay,
My escape is not working here for some reason. All right. Are people able to see the agenda now at this point?
yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so here we go.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to request a motion to approve the bills.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
On the question?
Jean Cadman, I do just want to say that the format for viewing was exceptional this time.
I just have one question on the, and this is the Chromebooks. Is that one of those items that, you know, the subsidized monies we've gotten for COVID that we'll be able to reimburse? Even though if we don't, that's okay too, because I think it was the right thing to move. But there was like, you know, $250,000 spent on Chromebooks, which I think was a great idea.
And they are distributed. Jim, I'll leave that question to you, but I'm very happy to say that with the hard work of our technology staff and some of our central office individuals, we distributed many, many Chromebooks. Our hope is that now everyone who needs one has one. But Jim, I'll leave the payment question to you.
Yes, Mr. Brzezinski, the funding source was the federal COVID-19 grant money for sure in its totality. And also, Dr. Cadman, I appreciate the comment on the format. I know my team has been working very hard on that, despite some software limitations. So we're trying our best to give the board, you know, the information they want in a good readable format. So appreciate you noticing that.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that. That was great. It's nice to have the treasurer's report right up front. And the analysis was right at the beginning of the bills. So that was great. Thanks, Jim.
Hey, Jim, do we have enough spares if we need them on the Chromebooks, or do we need to order more?
But I'm not in a position to talk about it with spares, but I think if you talk to our tech director, he may say that we could never have enough. But I'm not sure. I'm not in that position. But
Yeah, and I think in the next round, Mr. Medensky, we'll be looking to order more because, you know, we recognize that Chromebooks in this environment are heavily used, and I don't want to say take a beating because our kids take good care of them, but you know, replacements will be necessary. So I think as we receive more grants in the future, we very likely will be ordering more Chromebooks.
All right, because I don't want to wait till the last minute when we really need them too.
Right.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, can we have roll call?
Dr. Cadman,
Yes,
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashulski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Mr. Medensky, can we have the treasurer's report?
Yeah, December's treasury report for 2020 was, we started off with a cash and real estate of $27,966,708. Excuse me. Our total revenue was $4,505,934. our net disbursements were only $3,614,701, which leads us a cash balance of going forward of $28,857,941.
We have a motion to approve
So moved.
Second.
on the question? Roll call?
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Dr. Main, can we have the personnel report?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Pashowski. Barring any objections from the board, maybe we could take the personnel report as a consent item. And if that's the case, we could request the board to approve the personnel report as listed in items numbers 1 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
I have a question on the EDR positions, assistant football cheerleading coach. So it was this for the fall? They did Zoom practicing?
Yeah, they did Zoom practicing, and I think they're still continuing some workouts. I know our football team has been out a time or two, so I think that the individuals are definitely being engaged at the high school. I can't speak specifically for this, but my sense is lots is going on.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. All right, thank you.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Under letter D, we request the board to consider a motion to approve the second reading of the Abington Heights School District Wellness Policy number 246.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Under letter E, request the board to approve the disposal of assets as contained in item number 3.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
You might be muted. Warren?
Yes.
thank you. Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Consider a motion to approve the first reading of Abington Heights School District 2021-2022 curriculum guide as contained in item number 4.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Yeah, Dr. Mahan, are there a lot of changes from last year's guide?
No, Mr. The big change is that we've added a new AP course, AP Research. We hope to have that as a capstone course that allows students to kind of pull together and strike out on their own as far as researching topics that are important to them. So we're excited about that addition. But other than that, the book is largely simply just the same.
That sounds like a great course. Thank you.
Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
We consider a motion to approve the Avitum Student Club and Student Activity Account as contained in item number 5.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Jean Cadman. So my question is, do we have any information on the co-advisors, if they have any mental health or counseling experience?
I think they are teachers at the school, Mrs. Cadman.
Okay, but I'm sure that they are aware of the resources for referral available and things like that.
Oh, for sure. And in fact, I think that actually is part of the underlying purpose of the club.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, thank you. And I should note also that one of the moderators of the club, I received a text from Mr. Snyder, I thank him for that, is a high school counselor. So that I think is a very positive aspect of it too. So
For sure. Thanks.
then under H, we would consider a motion to approve the WVIA Enhanced Scholarship Program contract as contained in item number 6.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
I just have a quick question. Is this fee based, like priced out per student? I mean, number one, do we have any idea how many students participate in this scholar program? And is the fee participant based, or is it a blank school fee?
You know, I think I'll have to check as far as the fee is concerned. The contract allows us to participate in a Scholastic Challenge, which is that television thing, our Scholastic team, Artist of the Year. So there's a whole number of different aspects of this. And I know our students do in fact participate. As far as actual numbers of individuals who participate in one or the other, I do not have that available, but it's very well supported by both our Scholastic Bowl team and the arts classes at the high school and the middle school.
Thank you.
Dr. Mahan, this fits the mission statement for the AEIO if funds are needed for this.
Okay, very good. So we'll make a call to the AIU on that one.
Yep, thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, we would ask a motion to approve the Abington Heights School District Comprehensive Plan as contained in item number 7.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Okay, and consider a motion to approve the first reading of policy 218.3 as contained in item number 8.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashowski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
And we would ask the board to consider a motion to approve the agreement with Forensic 5 Analytics as contained in item number 9.
So moved.
Second,
And the question? Roll call?
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Dr. Cadman,
yes,
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashawski.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
And finally, we would ask the board to consider a motion to appoint Rodman Azar to the Abington Heights School Board Representative at the NEIU 19.
So moved.
second,
Second.
second, second,
Third.
third, fourth, fifth.
Be
I just
careful,
wanted to
Jim.
thank, I just want
Don't
to
throw
thank,
him away from it.
thank
Nick, I'm
Mr.
muted.
Yes, thank you very much for agreeing to accept that position. Abington certainly needs representation on that board, so we really appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions?
Louise, I have a question on it. Are they Zoom meeting monthly? Are they still keeping
As
a?
far as I know, I looked on their website to see their, their calendar and everything, and as far as I know, they're all Zoom meetings
Mhm.
right
Okay.
now.
All right, thank you.
Hopefully soon to end, right? I'm ready to get back
Get
to
down to Zoom.
normal.
Yeah, really.
Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Pusateri,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney,
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Abstain.
Dr. Cadman,
Yes,
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mrs. Pashawski.
Yes.
Motion carries 8 with 1 abstain.
Okay, at this point, is there there's no informational items. Okay, do we have any new business? Any old business? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I think somebody has their hand up. I don't know if you can go back to that or if that's passed, but
Yeah, we only have one opportunity at our board meetings, and that's at the end of the superintendent's report, and then we have 2 opportunities during work sessions.
gotcha.
So I don't know what to say about that. It's really not.
Yep.
Okay, I think I did give ample time, right?
Oh,
Waiting
yeah.
for somebody to
That's the
raise their
normal
hand.
procedure. Yeah, you give ample time. Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay, can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
you.
Yep.
Good night.
Take
Have a good
care.
night.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
All righty.